Hi, I am Christine DeCamp, and I am the creator and founder of the Left Coast Artist Video Project. And I am here today with painter Sue Gonzalez, and we are in her studio in Point Reyes Station, California. We are here in Sue Gonzalez's studio in Point Reyes Station, and Sue is going to tell us a little bit about her work and her process.
Okay, well, for some time now I've been painting water, and I have been doing narrative paintings and paintings of intricate things like barnacles, honeycombs, and so I was kind of experimenting a lot, but when I started painting water, I just got really intrigued by water, the patterns, in which it flows. Like, what are you really seeing? Because when you're looking at water in the bay, it's just everything's so elusive. So I was wondering what exactly is going on, and I got interested in finding out. So I took a lot of photographs, and I took a sketchbook to the bay, and I just sat and stared at it mostly to see where I learned things about, the dark shadows are usually encased by, a very white or light kind of outline, and then there's sort of a medium value that comes in after that, and I started seeing the crisscrossing and the patterns of the waves and that sort of thing, and I just really enjoy painting water. I don't so much enjoy painting the land, but although my paintings do have references to specific places around Tamales Bay in particular, my husband and I go out in a boat, and sometimes we fish, or sometimes we just ride around and stop at the beaches. So lately I've just been really focusing on Tamales Bay, although I plan to do a series of a different kind of paintings that will be inspired by the pond in front of my house, because it will be much easier for me to take my paintings down there, or to do a double take, that sort of thing. And I'm just kind of interested in approaching this from a little bit more of an abstract perspective, and maybe eliminating the parts that I don't enjoy painting so much, and that is the land. Right now I'm interested in water, and there is, I'm interested in the reflection, I'm interested in the symbolic qualities of the water. I guess they're self-portraits in a way, because we're 98% water, and the multifaceted symbolism is, water can be terrifying, water can be peaceful. Water is used in rituals in many ways, and water's important to life. So I think that, as I'm painting water, I'm aware of that, and I think that in some of my paintings, some people might see a scene or a place on Tamales Bay, but that's not often what I'm thinking about. It's fine that people see that. People should should feel comfortable in thinking that these paintings are about anything that they want to think they're about. But sometimes for me it's what's below the surface, and sometimes it's not just the pattern, but the movement. It's interesting that some people, I've had couples come in during open studios, and one time the husband said, these are really great, this is really beautiful, and the wife said, no, it's really scary and dark, and so I like it that people can read different things into it, and there isn't anything that I am trying to tell people that I need to have them see. I'm just exploring myself.
Right. Well, the way you capture the feeling of the water and the different weather, the water to me is always changing, and the light makes it look so different at different times, and it's really beautiful how you capture that.
Thank you.
And this one over here, let me just go over and look at that one. I just love, and I don't know if, I think you'll be able to see this in the video, how you get all this little nuances in through here of the reflection on the water. It's really beautiful. Do you, obviously you're not painting these on site, but do you use photographs, or how do you...
I use photos, but I actually did used to paint on site, but it was just impossible. The paintings are like big kites, that take off in the wind, and there's so much wind here. And so I did try that for a while, and then because they're big, and it takes so long to work the whole surface,
right.
The weather has totally changed, so it's almost pointless to work on site.
Yeah.
So I do use photographs for reference, but then of course I change things. Even when I sketch, I'll sketch on the painting, and then I'll start with acrylics, and then that way I can sort of decide where I want things, how I want things to be, because they dry so quickly. And a lot of times I'll change things a lot when I'm using the acrylics, and then I go over, then I start painting in oil, because I don't like, for me, they're beautiful acrylic paintings, but for me I don't like the feel of painting in acrylic. So then I switch to oil, and a lot of times I'll do about at least 3 different layers. Sometimes I don't know when to stop, but I always feel like the paintings look more luminous when they just kind of look unfinished to me when I only go over them once, and
right.
Somehow I don't get the kind of luminosity with one coat that I like to have.
Yeah, I find that too, that it makes a big difference how much paint you have on there.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, what would you say it is about your paintings that people respond to the most?
I think people just really respond to water, moving water, and if it's done fairly well. I think water is interesting to a lot of people, and some people say, oh, they look just like photographs. Some look more photographic than others, I think. But that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to create something that looks like a photograph.
Right.
So I don't really care so much about that.
And do people connect your work with this area specifically? I see that. But then I live here, so.
Yeah, you're probably going to see that less in my next series, that you want to connect it to this place, from what I'm thinking in my head anyway. But I suppose, there have been people who bought my paintings because they've lived here, and then they move away. And it does, I do kind of like to stay true to the color. There are a lot of different colors here. You can't tell necessarily from that angle, but there's avocado green over there, as my husband says, and blue. And sometimes I've had people say the bay really doesn't look that blue, but it's amazing how different it looks, and at different times of day, as you said. And then I love it when the fishermen comment on my paintings. My son's a fisherman, and he's like, that blue is exactly the color of the bay in front of Marshall at a certain time of day. And I'm like, oh yeah, you notice those things.
Yeah, that's nice. Great. What would you say is your biggest challenge, either with your work in particular or with your business, your art business?
I'm not good at all with the business end of art. That's a huge challenge. And then I have another job, because selling paintings is, sometimes things go well and sometimes things don't go well. So I have to have another job, and it's really hard. I teach at a school, and I paint all summer, and I'm sometimes just really getting to the point where I'm moving in a new direction, and then school starts. And once school starts, it's really hard to experiment a lot, because I'll start a painting, and then when I come back, I'll think, what was I thinking, or where was I going? So
Yeah.
it's really hard to move it along when I have to stop. That's my biggest challenge.
Yeah, I understand that. And what is it that you want to communicate with your work to the world and to future generations?
I just would want my work to still, hopefully be meaningful. If I'm interested and I'm passionate, that it really doesn't matter. I want people to like my paintings, but because I don't do much on the business end of this at all. I don't have time. It's mostly about me enjoying painting.
Great, great. Okay, well, thank you so much, Susan, for inviting us into your studio and giving us a chance to look at your beautiful work and sharing your process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.